What's going on, world? And welcome to Clearing the Wreckage Podcast. It's the voice and your host, Kareem A. Rashid. And once again, I don't know what you got going on. You could be getting on the toilet, or you could be getting off the toilet. Hell, for all I know, you could be wiping your tushy. But I know that I'm ready. And so I hope that you're ready to clear the wreckage. Yes, indeed. All right, what's going on, my peeps? What's going on, my fellow Wreckage Clearers? How are you today? I hope that you're doing well. I believe this to be true, that spring has sprung, and it is on its way to us here in Florida. Yes, that is where I stay, the beautiful Sunshine State. But right now, it is raining, and there happens to be a tornado watch until about 2 p.m. Isn't that something? I tell you one thing, if you don't know about Florida, here's what normally happens. It's either blazing hot and humid, or it's either storming raining, or there's a sun shower. If you never experienced that, that means that when the sun is actually out, there is rain coming down. It's not dark clouds or anything like that. You can just be outside and the sun's blazing, then all of a sudden here comes some rain and you're like, what the heck? Yeah, so that is Florida for you. But I am grateful and thankful that I live in this state. I would not want to live anywhere else. I hate it for y'all that live up north. I hate it for you that live somewhere else other than Florida. You need to come move to where I stay at, because this is the best state. And that is just my viewpoint. I love where I live at in the great state of Florida. I hope everybody is doing well. I had the opportunity to go down to South Florida, and I experienced a great time with my sister and with the rest of my family. We're celebrating her, and she was able to celebrate one of her big birthdays, so she had a great big birthday bash, and it was pretty cool. And I wouldn't even say it was that big, but it was really cool to be around family, to be around nieces and nephews, to be around cousins. You know, I saw a cousin that I ain't seen in years, and it was just so amazing to see her. And I'm really thankful and grateful that I took the time to go down there and spend quality time with the fam. But now I'm here to spend quality time with you. And you are my fam as well. You are part of this community, so we are in this together as one. Today, I'm going to title this conversation, No Self-Worth, comma, No Love. Basically, today, I'm going to converse this with you about, how low self-worth also plays a significant role in loving ourselves and loving others. For the past few weeks, we have been talking about love. Love, all we need is love. All we need is love between you and me. Ooh, and then we grow together. That's me singing. Anyway, so yeah, but that's really truthfully all we need as a human race, right? We need love as humans. We need that to thrive. We need that to flourish. And you know what is awesome about that? Actually, everything needs love, not just us as humans. If you look outside and you see the flowers, you know that they need love. They need it from the bees. They need it from the pollen. They need love to come through and spread amongst them. The plants need the chlorophyll. They need love to flow through them in order to blossom, in order to grow. And when you do not have such things, such as self-worth, and self-love, you will not grow. Period, point blank. I can end this discussion now. I could drop the mic and walk away. Because that is what I have been saying to you for the past 3-4 weeks. And I'm going to continue to emphasize it because I need you to know how important it is to love yourself. You know, I've already told you there was this great person, there was this great being that came to earth and said, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, how in the heck are you going to do that? How are you going to do that if you have no self-worth? If you have low self-worth, self-value, then that is exactly what you're going to give to the other person. That is exactly what you're going to give to everyone you come in contact with. But if you have that love for yourself, that genuine love that we've been talking about, that agape love, then that is what you're going to give to your neighbor. If you are giving that to yourself, if you are embracing yourself, everything about yourself, then you're going to embrace everything about other people. Yes. You will no longer look at these people and put them into a category. You will start looking at them as you look at yourself. Beautiful, fearfully, and wonderfully made. Inherently good, because you are inherently good. There is nothing wrong with you. But I can't be in your head, because what you're probably saying to yourself, man, I don't like myself. Why do I keep doing this? Man, I deserve this type of treatment for people. I deserve to be treated bad. I'm no good. I'm not worth nothing. Well, then that's what it's going to be, because that is exactly what you're going to receive from every person that you come in contact with, unless you come in contact with a person that actually is loving themselves and that actually has that amount of self-worth that they need to love themselves and love you. So you are going to experience that love, but it is going to be hard for you to embrace it because you're going to be constantly talking to yourself in a negative way. How do I know this? Kareem, you're like, Kareem, how do you know this? Why are you getting on here and talking about this? How do I know that? Because I'm about to share with you an experience that I went through where exactly that was going on. Now, I'm going to discuss with you the wreckage and how the wreckage that comes from the low self-worth, that stems from that, right? And how it affects the relationship, the dynamics with other people. So let me first make a confession to you. Let's go back to 2017. You know, in 2017, I got married, and you guys know this. I've said that before to you, but we are on a journey together. I'm sharing my story with you, as always, every single week. And so this is the part of the journey. This is where we are at. This is the setting. We have made it to this point now. So it is time for me to, expose myself and share my wreckage. And I am able to do that because the wreckage has already been cleared. And I am still clearing it to this day. Remember, I've told you I have not graduated magna cum laude. I am still enrolled in the school of life. I have not received my PhD of life. I am still enrolled. And I am just here to enjoy life and to enjoy the journey and realize that the destination is me. We had a conversation about that a few weeks ago. The destination is me returning home, becoming comfortable in my own skin. That's the destination. I'm not going anywhere except present, staying present, right? Loving myself and giving that away to other people. Life is not about me trying to go somewhere. And when I say that, I'm talking about those places that they teach you in religion. Life isn't about me trying to reach that destination later on after I die. No, life is about me experiencing that destination while I'm here. Whoa, boy, don't let me start preaching to you now. So either you're going to be experiencing hell while you are here, or you're going to be experiencing heaven. Are you going to reach the destination, which is you, that you need to reach and put inside of you and love yourself enough and give yourself this worth enough to experience heaven? Or are you going to stay in hell? Well, I can tell you this. I place myself in hell. Yep. Through my addiction, I was living in hell. Through my alcoholism, I was living in hell. Every single day, I placed myself into fire. Myself. Nobody threw me in there. Nobody said, oh, well, you know what, Kareem, it's time to just take you to hell. No, I did it to myself, clearly. And a lot of us walk around doing things to ourselves, but because we don't have any self-worth, we're blaming everybody else. We're blaming everybody else for our actions that led us right into the fiery pits of hell. It takes work. It takes looking at the inside. It takes, what do I say, every single conversation with you as we exit. Take the time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. I don't say that to blow smoke up your hoo-ha. I'm not wasting my breath. This is something that I have been doing, that I must do on a daily basis, and I'm here to share it with you. So let me first clear up some wreckage with you and be honest, completely transparent with you. 2017, we got married. And March 11, 2017 was the actual day that I married my ex-wife. She was inside of a facility until March 10th, 2017. I can laugh at myself as I look back like, whoa, man, you married her March 11th, 2017, the day after she got out of the facility? Yes. And I'm only saying facility because I'm not putting her business out there. It's her story to tell, not mine. And the reason why I did that is because my self-worth was low. Yeah, in 2016, I had got sober and clean. Yeah, a few years before that, I started going to therapy. Yeah, I got diagnosed with these things, started seeing a psychiatrist. Yes, you know what? I was taking the time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. Yes, I was doing that. Yes, but in 2016, I really started doing it, right? I really started looking at myself because I didn't have the drugs and the alcohol to partake in. The drugs and alcohol did not play a role. So in 2016 to 2017, I was completely sober and clean. And I was really digging in. And I was getting to know who I was. I was getting to know myself, everything about me. Not just through therapy, even though that is the avenue where I am taking the time to look inside. That's a great avenue, which I am so grateful for and thankful for. I am so thankful for my therapist, who has been my therapist for the past, since 2012, 2013. So I am really grateful for that. I'm grateful that I have opportunities to see her, that I've had this time for the past, however many years that adds up to, 13, I guess. Sometimes I can't count, y'all. Excuse me. I'm clearing the wreckage on that. 1 + 1 = 2. I don't know. Maybe it equals 3. I'm just kidding. So with that being said, let's get into the reason why I did it. I had low self-worth. And here's what I was thinking. All right, she gets out on March 10th. Let's set the date for March 11th because I do not want her to get out and live her life. I don't want her to get out and be independent and live her life the way, and experience life. She was inside of a facility for 2 years. I don't want her to go and experience life because right now she's good the way she is. I did not accept her completely. She's good the way she is. And so one day out of there, perfect. We're going to get married and then we're going to have the best marriage ever because I know that she loves me and I love her. And I was looking for that love, that validation from her. I was still struggling with giving that to myself. That is why I'm emphasizing this to you, because I was still struggling with it. But at least, you know what? I can come to you. I can be honest with you about it. I can share my wreckage with you and just tell you that's really what was going on. Now, you may be questioning me, well, didn't you love her? You had to love her enough to marry her. Well, I loved her, but part of it was, me trying to receive something that I wasn't giving myself fully yet, if that makes sense. I was trying to receive that approval, that worth from her that I was not completely giving myself yet. I was trying to receive that love from her that I was not really giving myself all the way yet. I was just a year in without the drugs and alcohol. I was trying. I was doing my best, but that is where I was at that time. Does that make sense? And sometimes we have to just learn to accept where we are at. If we are at this place in a certain time, that's just where we're at. Sometimes we have to learn to accept that. Doesn't mean that we don't continue to take the time to look inside so that we can grow. Doesn't mean that we keep trying to give ourselves that self-love so that we can flourish. It just means that with all of that entailed, we must accept where we are. So with that being said, I want to get a little bit more deeper into addiction with you, because I know there may be some of you, maybe a few, maybe many that still are that may not understand it completely. And I'm not trying to get you to understand it, because if you are not, let me make this clear, addicted to anything, you will never understand addiction. Only the person who is an addict will understand it. You will not. Simple as that. But I want to share with you how when addiction takes place, the person who has this disease, and it is a disease, is powerless over this. I've shared this with you before. The person, or me, I should say, that has a disease of alcoholism and addiction, I cannot stop. I need more, regardless of the consequences of my behavior that stems from it. My behavior that stems from me drinking, my behavior that stems from me using drugs, it does not matter. I'm not looking at my behavior. I'm constantly searching for my next hit, for my next drink. I cannot get enough. Now, let me back that up. Let me give you some research. Let me give you some evidence. Let me tell you what other people say about this that are qualified to say stuff about it besides me. But I will tell you this, I am qualified because I lived with it. So I am qualified for sure. But here is a statement from the NIDA, the National Institute of Drug Abuse. Addiction is recognized as a chronic. Do you know what chronic means? Let's just stop right there. Do you know what chronic means? So when somebody says chronic, no, we're not talking about the chronic that you smoke. We're not talking about Dr. Dre. We're not talking about Snoop Dogg. For those of you who are old enough to remember that album from Dr. Dre, we ain't talking about that. When we say chronic, we're talking about ongoing. No cure. That's what we're talking about. Chronic. This goes on forever. You have a chronic disease. So addiction is recognized as a chronic relapsing brain disease because it is structurally and functionally, it alters the brain's neural pathways and specifically affects areas responsible for reward, motivation, learning, and self-control. Now, this is what the NIDA says. This is what the National Institute on Drug Abuse says, not me. But if you need more statements, I feel like, so here it goes. You need a little bit more statements. Here's more from the NIDA. Alcohol and drug addiction hijack the brain's reward system, causing it to prioritize the substance as a primary survival level. Primary need. Basically, what they're saying is what I just said to you a little while ago. I cannot stop. I will not stop, regardless of the consequences of my behavior that stems from it. Regardless of who this affects around me, it doesn't matter. I don't care about you. All I want to do is continue in my wreckage, continue in my drinking, continue in using my drugs, because this hijacks my reward system. And in that reward system, what did we just talk about last week in that reward center? The surge of dopamine, right? Which is that chemical that is like, hey, this feels great. I want more, right? The motivation to continue seeking that feeling, that's what the dopamine gives you. And so it hijacks that area and it causes it to prioritize the alcohol, the drugs, whatever it is, as a primary survival need. I've talked to you about this before. The baby. When the baby is irritated, when the baby, has a bowel movement, the baby needs the bottle. This is the same. I gave you that analogy so that you can actually compare that to and have something to hold on to. It's the same exact thing. It's the same exact behavior, I should say. And this is why the person who has the disease of addiction, you see them prioritize their life around this. They prioritize their life around getting high or getting that drink. That's why you could have a mother who is suffering from the disease. She does not put her kid first. Instead, she is seeking a high. Or you could have a father, you could have a brother, you could have a sister or a friend, anyone. They could put other things ahead of their family, i.e. other things, meaning drugs and alcohol, meaning I'm going to put my addiction ahead of you. And this, my friends, is just a lack of self-worth. All this is stemming from, I'm not saying that all addiction is stemming from this, but it plays a significant role. What this is mainly stemming from is the lack of self-worth. And then the more and more and more I use, the more and more I drink, my self-worth diminishes. More and more and more. Once I take that drink or that drug, I don't care about anything else. Then my self-worth diminishes more and more. Why, Kareem? Well, self-worth is diminishing because hence the word self. I'm not giving myself anything that is good for me at that moment. The poison that I decide to drink is now no good for me. The drug that I am now seeking is no good for me. Therefore, I am only doing to myself harm, and that what is not good for me, which continues to diminish my worth, my self-worth. Now, you could have asked me to stop drinking. You could have asked me to stop using drugs. You know, but that wasn't going to happen because my self-worth was diminishing by the gulp, by the toke, by every swallow, by every inhale of smoke. Now, I also want you to go back, do some research, and go back to the episode, the conversation we had that was titled Love, Lust, or Codependency, Self-Worth. It was titled that, Self-Worth, Love, Lust, and Codependency. Go back to that episode because that is pretty much what I was talking about. Now, I will say, hence the word self. Now, let's get into that. Hence the word self in front of worth. No, we cannot, and I know from my experience, obviously gain any self-worth from others, especially not from someone else whose self-worth was diminished as well. And so, in the example I'm giving you is my ex-wife also was struggling with the same things that I struggled with, but she was still going through it. So she struggled with the disease of addiction. And not only that, she also has some deep-seated beliefs about herself. And those deep-seated beliefs were due to some of her childhood experiences and more. Kind of like mine, the same thing. And you can say that her and I were definitely a mirror. Maybe, I don't know, just maybe. And I'm making fun when I say this. Maybe that's why we fell in love with each other. I don't know. Maybe that is why we both were attracted to each other. Because we both were trying to find this love that we did not even know about. We were just trying to find something to fill us up other than drugs and alcohol. So that's what we both were doing. We were seeking this love. We were seeking out that validation. We were seeking out that approval. We were seeking some type of worth that really and truly we can only give to ourselves. Can only give it to ourselves. So I want to tell you right now, I want to stop you right now in your tracks. If you are with someone right now in a relationship, your husband, spouse, wife, significant other, your dog, whoever it is, your dog can't give you self-worth. Your cat can't give you self-worth. Your little bunny rabbit can't give you self-worth. I mean, your little hamster cannot give you self-worth. Your kid can't even give you self-worth. You have to give your self-worth. That is how the word is played out. That's how it's spelled out. For that reason, you have to give your self-worth. So now, let me just share this. I was growing into myself. I was growing into loving myself. Although I had wrestled with this lack of self-worth from time to time and seeking her approval and looking for her validation, I still began giving that to myself, which then allowed or enabled me to give genuine love to her, because I started giving that to myself by the work that I was doing on myself, by the wreckage that I was clearing. The wreckage did not stop being cleared just because I got married. I didn't say, oh, well, you know what? I'm married now. I'm all fixed. No, I didn't. There was a part of me, though, that was like, okay, I'm fixed now. There was a part of me, I'll be honest with you. I'll be completely 100 authentic with you. There was a part of me that felt like, oh, she completes me. I'll be fixed now. But that is a fib. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is a fib. That's a fib that I was believing. That was a mirage that I was believing. That was this facade, this dream that I had made up in my whole head that I wanted to be reality. Oh man, you know what? We're going to get married. Oh, she's going to complete me. Oh, we're going to be this power couple. Oh, we're going to write this book about this, about that. Oh, we're going to save people. Oh, we're going to do amazing things because now with her, I am unstoppable. I just told you the exact truth. I don't know if you were ready for that, but I spit it out to you because I've already cleared the wreckage and I love myself and accept myself the way I am. So I wanted to share those things with you so you can kind of get a gist and idea of what it is like. Maybe you're going through it right now, but I wanted to give you a gist of what it is like when you are not giving yourself worth. And then the other person is struggling also with giving themselves worth. Oh man, you got an issue right there. You got an issue on your hands, especially if you are in a relationship. So the problem was I was growing and she was not. I was growing into myself and she still did not quite like herself. Now, I'm not going to get into too much detail because I feel like this story is hers to tell, not mine. Don't get me wrong. I share part of this story. Part of that story is mine. So I'm sharing my part. But I don't want to share necessarily all of her part in it. It's hers to tell. Maybe one day she'll write a book. Maybe one day she'll do something with it. I don't know. However, the whole point of this conversation is that you need to, just like I did, develop your self-worth and grow into loving yourself and realize that you cannot receive any of this from anyone else or anything else. No outside source can give you self-worth, hence the word again. Now, I wanted to talk about this. For one, I just don't want you going through what I went through. For two, it is so many of us that are in relationships that are dependent upon the other person giving us the kind of love that we are truly seeking and the worth that we so greatly desire. And it is imperative, my friends, it is vital that you take the time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear, because once you see it, then you're like, oh, okay, all right, wait, I'm trying to get this from this person. That's not going to happen. What is really going on the inside of me? What was affected as a kid where I didn't really receive that value, or I didn't feel valued? It's not that you didn't receive it. You didn't feel valued. You didn't feel validated. Well, where did that come from? And maybe I'm taking that with me everywhere I go. That's how it was for me. I didn't feel validated. I didn't feel like I had that approval from my family, from my parents, really, not necessarily my siblings. But I didn't feel like I had that, right? Because I wasn't receiving those hugs, right? Nobody wasn't telling me, hey, Kareem, I love you. So I didn't really feel love. I didn't feel it. So I felt like, man, I didn't have it. And so that went with me throughout my whole life. I felt like, man, I had to feel love. Somebody could tell me that they love me, and then later on I started to believe it because I started telling myself. I started giving myself that love, saying, man, I love you, Kareem. You got to tell yourself those things. Now, here's the deal. We all experience all types of things from other people, all types of things in life, right? And when we don't receive it, we actually end up blaming the other person or resenting them or resenting ourselves. That's what happens when we're looking for that love, that worth that we are so greatly desiring, and then we don't get it in that other person. because we're expecting to receive it from them, then we end up blaming them, we end up resenting them, or we really just end up resenting ourselves. And then it is reinforced how we feel about ourselves. Well, I must be no good. I must not be good enough. I must be unworthy of love. Or maybe I do deserve to be treated like this. Maybe I do deserve to be treated poorly. Maybe I do deserve abuse. Maybe I deserve for them to leave me. Maybe that's what I get. Yeah, I would have cheated on me too because they're all right. I've not given them the affection or the physical or verbal affirmation that they needed. So they had every right to go outside of the marriage, to go outside of the relationship to find someone else. So these are the things that we begin to say, we will begin to say, and we will feel because we already feel that way on the inside. And we are already saying these things to ourselves on a constant, daily basis. And as your friend, as your family, as your brother, I will tell you this, as one that walks alongside of you, you need to hear this. I'm going to tell you this, no one is to blame but yourself. Now, let me also tell you this after that, because I know I just hit you with some truth. I just spoke the truth to you in love, but I'm telling you, no one else is to blame for yourself. We can't blame other people for what we are not receiving from them. It is our duty to give it to ourselves. But let me also reassure you this, that you are good. You're good. You are good. Yes. Let me say it to you again. You are good. You are inherently good, regardless of what you have been told. I am telling you now, I am reassuring you now that you are good. You are enough. You are good enough. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of genuine love. You are worthy of agape love. You do not deserve to be treated poorly by anyone. You do not deserve to be abused by anyone. You do not. You do not deserve to be left or abandoned by anyone ever. You do not. You do not deserve for someone to cheat on you either. You do not. You do not deserve these things because why? You are worthy of love. Again, I repeat, you are worthy of love. I want you to say this to yourself when you wake up in the morning and multiple times throughout the day. You are worthy of love. So if you are going through about your day and somebody says something to you that may be hurtful, you need to tell yourself you are worthy of love. I will give myself that love. Let me talk to myself in a kind and respectful, compassionate manner. Just because that person just said something to me that kind of rubbed me the wrong way doesn't mean that I need to take what they said for face value and I need to put that inside of my heart and feel that way. No. No. You are worthy of love. What you have to understand about people is that we don't intend to hurt one another. Most of the time, we really don't. We don't intend to hurt people. We don't intend to say things that are, most of the time, we don't. But then what happens is if you are around somebody, though, that does not love themselves, that does not have that self-worth, then they're normally going to say something to you that they're saying to themselves. In a nutshell is all I'm saying to you, all right? But it doesn't mean that that person does not have any self-worth. It just means that that person may be having a hard day. They may be struggling. So I want you to understand this, that most people who do not love themselves will repel from those who love themselves. Also, they will be compelled or attracted to that person that loves themselves. It's either one or the other. I hope that makes sense to you. So go throughout your life. Think about your life. Think about your day. Is there someone who is compelled or attracted to you? And it's probably because the love that you may have for yourself. Is there someone that is repelled from you? It's probably because the love that you have for yourself. Or they just don't like your behind. But they don't like you because they don't like themselves. Catch my drift? We are mirrors. We are reflections. That is all that we are. Now, I'll fast forward on that journey of my marriage with you just a little bit so I can give you kind of, I could just share with you exactly what happened to where you'll see that my self-worth developed to the place that it needed to be. My love for myself developed to the place that it needed to be. Me getting to know myself, me growing in love with myself developed to the place where it needed to be throughout that marriage. And here's an example of that. It repelled her. But the other thing about that is that it compelled me and repelled me at the same time. It repelled me from her, not in a bad way. It removed me from her. It was time to set a boundary, if that makes sense. But for her, on her part, because I was loving myself and growing into myself, it repelled her. She moved further away from that love because she was not giving it to herself. So that worth, that value, those words of affirmation, right, that she wasn't giving that stuff to herself, so she was not able to embrace my love. Because I started giving that to myself, I started to be able to embrace the love that I had for myself, then I was able to give that out. As I've said to you before, we cannot pass along what we do not have. Now, if you're like that, I'm giving you this example because, I experienced this with her. She continued to question. Why do you love me? Why? And if you're like that, if you're struggling with your self-worth, these are the questions that you're going to have. Oh, wait, I'm no good. No. You should not be around me. It's what you start telling other people because you're already telling yourself that. So you're struggling with self-worth and you're saying this over and over again to yourself. So you begin to repel other people. Now, does that make sense? Now, I was able to, once I grew in love with myself more and my worth for myself grew and I knew my inherent value, that's when the boundary was set. And that is what happens when you love yourself. You start setting boundaries. And we'll get into that more deeper on a different conversation. But I want to ask you, do you have someone in your life like this? Do you have someone in your life where, they're repelled because you love yourself? They start saying stuff about you. They start gossiping to other people about you. Start turning the whole world against you because you are just loving yourself and you're doing the right thing. You're going about your life. You're being a light. You're being an example because you are loving yourself. And they're repelled by it. Or are you that person who are saying bad things or negative things to yourself and then being that person that is repelled from someone that actually loves themselves? I want you to become the person that loves themselves. And that is why we've talked about this for the past 4 weeks. It's been 4 weeks now that we've been talking about love. And so with that, I also want to just share with this, like, we sometimes and mostly will say, let's just say this, that most of the time, I think I've already said this with you, but I want to emphasize it a little bit more. We will set boundaries once we start loving ourselves. We will start to place boundaries on ourselves, mainly, and then it will affect the other person. Because then we're going to set that boundary, because we're already setting the boundary that we expect for ourselves. We're going to set it for other people. And then that is how our relationship is going to work. That is how it's going to grow, because that's the way that I love myself. And that's what I'm going to continue to give myself, regardless if you give that to me or not. That's why there are boundaries set. You catch my drift? So once I begin to value myself and give myself that worth and love, no, you know what? I don't deserve this. No, I don't deserve to be treated this way. The boundary had to be set. And at that time, unfortunately, emphasis on at that time, unfortunately, that boundary had to be set through a divorce. And I will tell you this. I walked away from that relationship with more worth, more value, with more love for myself, because I knew that I did what I had to do because of the love for myself. And in hopes one day she will find what she's looking for within herself, not some outside source. So we will continue, as you see from my story, to suffer and treat ourselves like dirt by telling ourselves we don't deserve anything good, that we are no good, that we deserve wrath, that we deserve punishment, that we deserve this type of treatment. We will suffer. We will place ourselves in hell, and we will suffer. Please do not suffer in the way that I did, because if you only knew what I've been through in that marriage, I left a whole lot out because it is not mine all to tell. But you may be going through hell right now. And it is all due to not only how you view yourself, but how the deficiency of, or the lack of love, I should say, that you have for yourself. But you can change that. You can change that right now. You can begin affirming yourself right now. Your homework is what I just said that you should be doing. Affirm yourself every morning. Your homework is to take a sticky note. If you don't have none, go to the dollar store and get you a pad, a sticky pad. And you're going to write down, I'm not even telling you to write down 3, write down 2. Now, I've already gave you this homework before. But I wonder if you actually be listening to me and, putting this stuff into practice. I have done this before. I don't do it now. I've done this before, though, so I'm sharing it with you. Take on that sticky note, write down 2 things that you appreciate about yourself. Now, remember I gave you the homework a few weeks ago was just to tell yourself a couple of things that you appreciate about yourself. This time, I want you to write it down and place it on your bathroom mirror or any other mirror that you have in your house that you see every single day. That is your homework. I love you because I love myself. And I want you to start giving yourself that worth to start reminding yourself that you are inherently good. I don't care what your parents told you. I don't care how many times you've been to jail. I don't care how many things you did wrong. You are inherently good. And I need you to see that in yourself and start affirming yourself. All right? I love you. As I always leave you, until next week and until next time, take some time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear.